What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between? This is Shoe Booty Sports coming at you Tuesday night, per the always, well, most always anyway. I'm your host, Graham Powell, on this screen. That's Bradley Brown on the other. Say what's up, Bradley.
How's it going?
That was a very I don't know, you let that build the how's it going part, unless there's a delay on my end.
There had to have been a massive delay or something on your end.
Yeah. I thought
So
you were just pulling a Michael Jackson, like at his concerts. He just lets it build, lets the crowd get riled up, and before he starts playing. Well, back when he was alive, but anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. But then I was like, oh, there's probably a delay. Anyway, Shoe Booty Sports Tuesday night. Um, yeah. So before we get going, there's a few things to talk about. Some breaking news as well. I'll try to get out of this light here as for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube. But anyway, before we get going, quick shout out to our sponsor, Shoe Booty Sports, is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, so breaking news, and this just happened as far as I know. I've not been near my phone. I went for a 5 mile run before we got on here. Went to work, got home, went for a run, came back, hopped in the shower because it's starting to get hot. So I was very sweaty. I was like, I need to take a shower before we get going. And come in here, get the turn things on, look at my phone, just pull up the ESPN app, just see what's going on. Um, Major League Baseball news: Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and I think a total of 16 players now deceased players are now have been reinstated into Major League Baseball and are eligible for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, just among other things. Really, that I mean, that's all they can do, right? Um,
yeah.
because they're no longer with us, unfortunately. But it's a very interesting read. There's an article on ESPN.com by Don Van Natta Jr. And this is the headline: and a historic sweeping, and by headline I mean the lead paragraph in the article. In a historic sweeping decision, baseball commissioner Rob Manfred on Tuesday removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list. So the all-time hit king, uh, one of the great players of his time, well, Pete Rose, but also Shoeless Joe Jackson. Now they're off the permanently ineligible list. This is you've got everybody has a take on this. We've discussed it on the show. This a lot of people are
Yeah.
going to say this has been long overdue, and especially now that Pete Rose is no longer with us. When did he die? In the last was it in the last year? I don't
I
remember
believe
when it
so
was.
last year or two. It's fairly recent.
I know it was recent. Can't remember how recent. But it's weird that you have certain players not in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame that clearly should be, and maybe it sets a. I don't know. We could do this all day. Maybe keeping some of those players out that have cheated in one way or another. You're basically letting it be known. You're setting it tone that if you do this, there are going to be consequences. I get the argument for keeping them out. I said I've said throughout the time, or I've always kind of had the opinion of Pete Rose did the one thing that would keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
The only thing. Yeah.
Though he did the one thing that would keep him out. He's the all-time hit king. He's he's as deserving as anyone, except for he broke the cardinal rule in baseball: do not gamble, and don't gamble on baseball. And he did that. He did it while he was a manager, managing his team. And I think the argument was, well, he always bet for the Reds to win, but that's a problem. You could leave a pitcher in too long because you just determined to get that win, get your money, etc. Um, Play somebody hurt that shouldn't be playing. There are a lot of factors that as to why you shouldn't do it. And
Yeah.
I've always had the opinion, yeah, Pete Rose did the one thing that would keep him out, and therefore I agree with the decision to keep him out. Um, it's unfortunate that this happened, after his death, Shoeless Joe Jackson, others, but it's what it is. It's not everything's going to be a happy ending. Um, if you did something you shouldn't have, you broke a rule. The rule's in place for a reason. It's like when it's not similar, but I'm going to compare it to this. When Shakari Richardson was disqualified from competing in the 2021 Olympic Games because she failed a drug test for smoking weed, a lot of people were coming to her defense saying, "Oh, shit, her mom died, and she was coping with the loss of her mom." It's like, okay, well, you still broke the rule. Like you still shouldn't be
Yeah.
smoking weed. Now you can, and of course the argument was it's a dumb rule. Yeah, well, so what? It's still a rule. If they had the rule of you can't drink Diet Coke in order to compete in the Olympic Games, guess what? I wouldn't drink Diet Coke for at least while I was competing in the Olympic Games. The rule is the rule, whether you agree with it or not. So she was right to be disqualified then. Pete Rose was right to be, or the commissioner, I believe, was right to keep Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame, or keep him ineligible. So therefore, keeping him out of
Yes.
the Hall of Fame. Same with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Of course, he took the money as his other seven teammates did on that Black Sox team that was in the World Series. But Shoeless Joe also had a I don't think he struck out in that World Series. I think he hit over 300. I think he hit like 321. Uh, but you still took the money, and
Yeah.
you knew you weren't supposed to take the money. So I don't know. It's unfortunate, but I mean they are the pariahs of that sport. But what I think doesn't matter because they're all eligible now. They're all eligible for Hall of Fame induction. Again, that's really all you can do at this point, because they're no longer with us. But I can't avoid this glare, so sorry for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube. It's just what it is. It's that time of day, I guess. Um, but what are your thoughts on it? I've been I've let mine be known. What do you think about it, Brad?
Say I agree with with the ban beforehand that they had in place for them, for them all. That was the one rule, and they broke it. It's a little bit different for Shoeless Joe just because they didn't make a whole lot of money back then, like probably barely anything. So you can't really blame him for taking the money. But
I was like they
uh,
had to have other jobs in the off season. Then
yeah,
when they weren't playing, they
yeah.
had to have other jobs typically.
Mhm. But yeah, I fully agreed with the ban, and yeah, this is quite honestly shocking, man. Like this was, I mean, I just always thought it was going to be, yep, there's the Baseball Hall of Fame, and guess who's not in it? Everybody knows who's not in it. That those two people.
It's those two. Those are the two ones you think about as far as
Yeah,
pariahs that deserve to be in as much as anyone, but aren't. Um, Going back to the Shoeless Joe thing, yeah, players had to have second jobs and all that. But guess what? A lot of weed dealers decided to start, or drug dealers decided to start selling and manufacturing drugs because their basic job wasn't covering costs. And guess what? They still get in trouble if caught, etc. So rules are in place for a reason. You break a rule, there's going to be consequences. So I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying I'm with you on, well, we kind of know why, but at the same time, it's still
Like,
wrong.
there's some other big names that are, still banned, I guess, for the steroids, right? I
Well,
mean,
they're not banned.
I mean, but yeah,
They're not banned, but
it's
they're not getting in with these
they're not.
rights. Well, they're
Yeah,
not getting in at all because, like Clemens' eligibility is up, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's it. And that's the thing. Like guys like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, all Hall of Fame caliber players. Um, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player I've ever seen, and I said what I said, baseball player. A lot of people say, well, don't you mean hit? No, I don't. I mean baseball player. I mean, yeah, there are guys that did better things in the field, but I think he had 8 gold gloves. He had 500 stolen bases. Uh, he's the only guy in the 500 club as far as home runs and stolen bases. There's not even a 400 club. That's right. Willie Mays
no,
isn't even in that. So, yes, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player I've ever seen. Uh, PEDs or not. He was a 3-time MVP when he was skinny with the Pirates. So
yeah,
it's what it is. Um, I again, it's that's tricky. I don't have a. It's not a black and white thing for me as far as having an opinion on that goes. I get why they're not voted in. At the same time, it's weird to have a Hall of Fame and not have the guys I mentioned in it. You don't have Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. Like, that's wild. But I mean, the Baseball Hall of Fame is treated like a shrine to the writers, the people that do the voting. It's this holy shrine to them, and really, it's just a museum. That's all it is. It's a museum. It doesn't all have to be happy. Or I mean, you go to the Clinton Library in Little Rock. Monica Lewinsky is mentioned. She is mentioned in the now. She's only mentioned one time. Her name is in there one time, but she's
uh,
mentioned. It's part of the Clinton presidency. It's just history. It's what it is. We're not all holier than thou. We are human. We make mistakes. I screw up all the time. I've made fewer mistakes as I've aged, and I just see
yeah,
that as signs of growth and progression. I still mess up. I still make mistakes, and there are consequences to those mistakes, and there should be. Um, but I don't know. I'm kind of going down a different rabbit hole, but veering back to the one I was on. It's it's a it's not a holy shrine. It's a museum, and it should be treated as such. I'm fine with you letting those players in, but also including that history. Like these, even though Barry Bonds never tested positive for steroids, he was clearly on something. He was clearly
yeah.
on human growth hormone,
Just put them in
and
a separate wing, separate room.
I put them in the same room, but you can include the history behind it, and you can include all that. But at the same time, I'm not passionate about it either way. If you want to keep them out, that's that's fine too. I get why you keep them out. I get the argument for why they should be in. I'm a former sports writer that really doesn't have a strong opinion on it. Also, guys didn't like Barry Bonds, as in the writers. Uh, the reporters did not like Barry Bonds because he wasn't nice to them. He was not nice to them. He wasn't media friendly. Um, he was good with the players. The players, not all players, but a lot of them seemed to like him. And again, he's the best player I've seen. So it's weird to just have guys like him. And I mean, that's the thing. Those are alpha males. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. Not everybody's going to like them.
No,
Um, but man, were they great. And they were great for a long time. And yeah, performance enhancing drugs. help them recover, prolong their career. Certain of that, but they they were still all time great. Absolutely. Uh, so they are eligible now. Now Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe, and company. They are eligible for the Hall of Fame, I believe, in 2028. I believe I read that right. Are they going to get in 2028, or is it something that you think is going to be kind of like
I
Ichiro? Like not everybody, like one person voted to not include him on the first year ballot, and
I
which
think
is nuts.
think they get in.
I don't think they
I
get in.
think I think I don't know, man. I think there's a real possibility that Rose might.
Baseball writers are very fickle. Sports writers are very
But of that generation, the older generation, man, that's like their favorite ball player.
no. The older generations is worse. That like they're going to be the ones that are still like no, they don't deserve to be in. They didn't vote him. I mean, now some of them are for him being in. I've heard many arguments
Yes.
from sports writers that he should be. Um, but there's still going to be that few that are like me. That's like, well, he did the one thing. Now, since he's eligible, like, okay, let's put Graham Powell back in his sports writer role, and let's say I had a vote. I would vote him in now because he's
He's
eligible.
eligible.
I would be like, okay, he's eligible. Well, he's clearly a Hall of Famer. He'd get my vote. Excuse me. But I would also vote for Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and those two for sure.
Yeah.
I would still vote those two. McGuire, Sosa, were they Hall of Fame players? Yeah, um, at least numbers wise. But
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know that I would
No.
vote those two in because
I'm
Sosa,
not voting them. I'm not
yeah,
voting them in.
I probably wouldn't either. Sosa was a very good player, um, a very solid player, but he was never MVP caliber until he clearly got on something. And then, of course, McGuire, because you knew something was up. It was a great year in '98. um, the home run chase, it saved baseball. It absolutely saved baseball. So there was some good that came out of it. But when Sosa hit 60 plus homers 3 consecutive seasons, it was like, okay, something's different now. Something is clearly going on. And then you find out why. It didn't take long for people to be able to piece together what was happening. Or actually, it did. It took three. It took like 3 years. I take that back. It actually did take everybody a while because we wanted to believe what we were seeing was just magical, just this magic that baseball can bring. You know, um, like I loved playing football. I absolutely loved playing football. High school football was the most fun I've ever had, like playing sports. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of really good baseball memories that are like right up there, going from like little kid through high school. A lot of really good baseball memories too. And it was my first love. I mean, it was my first love as far as sports go. I grew up wanting to collect baseball cards. I would collect football cards too, but like getting like the top baseball cards was like my main
Yeah.
priority. Um, so I've always had that love for baseball, still do, and I don't know. It's I get wanting to believe the magic of what you're seeing. Like this is so special, um, but then you're like, okay, well, there's something's caused this.
Yeah.
And turned out it was HGH and among other things. Stuff that was, to be fair, stuff that was legal at the time they were taking it, I believe. Am I wrong?
I'm not sure. I don't. I'm not sure, man. It's been a long time since then.
Well, they weren't failing drug tests for a reason because they weren't testing for it. But then they started testing for it, and then things changed. Then you go get on what they're not testing for. What's the alternate of this? Cream and clear, you know. So they they were being smart about it, ish. It eventually cost them, but I mean, hey, Bonds got paid, had a historic season in 2001, historic career, um, single season home run record plus career home run record, and Bonds would have hit 70 plus for six or seven straight years if pitchers would have thrown to him. They just weren't throwing to him. We're not throwing to this guy. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Barry Bonds would maybe get one pitch to hit per game, maybe. And he was must see TV just because if they screwed up and missed the pitcher screwed
It was
up, missed
gone.
their spot, it was out of here. It was in McCovey Cove.
And they left in a hurry. They were crushed.
I mean, just bulleted like a cannon. With that massive, like robot looking arm brace that he had on. I mean, it was just waving that bat, dude. Not like Sheffield, but the way Bonds did it, it was just a cool thing to see. Just
Mm.
perfect form, everything. I mean, it was absolutely that was magical. I don't care how it was created, it that was magical. Now, I mean, Bond's brain also, as far as baseball goes, is as good as it gets too. I don't remember what teammate of his it was, but he was watching film. He was watching his hitting, his own hitting, trying to figure out what was going on. He was in a slump or something. And he was trying to figure out what he was doing incorrectly. And he watched it, and apparently Barry Bonds goes up to him and goes, I can't remember the teammate's name, but he said, "Man, you've been watching this for 2 days. Your hips are." He told him what was wrong right then, and then just went on his way. He's like, "You've been watching this film for 2 days," and he told him what was wrong. He was like, "Your elbow's too tight in, your hips are too wide, something like that, or your stance is
Yeah.
too wide." And he knew right away what was wrong. Um, because Bonds was he did get a job as a hitting coach with the Marlins for a while. Um, he slimmed up quite a bit by then. Of course, he no reason to stay in that kind of shape anymore if you're not playing. Um, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think I agree with you. No, kind of. I'm with you 100%. I know I would vote Bonds and Clemens in. I don't think I'd vote McGuire or Sosa in.
No.
Are there other players that pop into your head that are in that era?
And Seiko.
Really? Yeah, he's got the home run to. He's got 400 something home runs, but yeah, I guess he had a really good run with Oakland. I wouldn't vote Canseco in though.
No.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying you said in the group with
yeah,
McGuire and
yes,
Sosa.
you're right. Well,
That
just
would
in
be,
that, yeah.
but
Um,
yeah, no other ones from that era. I would say I would vote for them. None there are coming to mind. It's just Clemens and Bonds.
okay, here's one. Rafi Palmeiro, 3,000 hits.
Yeah. I, send him up. Send him in.
Here's the thing, though.
3,000 hits.
Here's the thing, though. He
Yeah.
lied. He lied about it. Now they all lied. To be
They
fair,
all.
all of them lied. Every single one of them lied. So I shouldn't include that because they all lied. Yeah, that's that's tough. To me, that's tougher.
Yeah.
Uh, because Palmero is one of those players who was really good, but he was never the best. Like he was
Dude,
never.
that's consistency, man. You get to 3,000
Yes.
hits.
No.
That is, yeah.
That's my argument for him. I mean, he had a Hall of Fame career, absolutely. Um, I'd have had more respect for it if he just got in front of Congress or not Congress. Who was it? Maybe it was Congress. I don't know.
And I think it was. Yeah.
Whatever judiciary branch he was speaking to and pointing the finger saying period. If he said, yeah, I did it, and because y'all weren't testing for it, everybody else was doing it. And I was like, I want to play like that too. And I totally did it. and that's what's up.
Yeah,
And he could have said it more professional than that, but I would have been, you know what? Okay. Like, see, that's the thing about Canseco. Canseco did tell the truth. He told the truth about everything. Like, I
yeah.
respect that. And he told the truth and stood on it, knowing he was going to get some backlash from players and everyone in between involved. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I'd vote Palmero in. Probably would, just not on the first ballot.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. It wouldn't be the first one.
Do you
I'd
think?
make him sweat it out till the last eligibility and get him in.
Do you think Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe get in first time they're eligible? 28.
I think there's a good chance.
I don't
I'm
think it
not saying it's going to
happens.
be hands down unanimous or anything,
Oh, well, of
but
course not. There's no
I
way.
think there's a chance for him to squeak in that first time.
I don't think it happens. Of course, there's a chance. I don't think it happens though. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it happens. But I do think both of them eventually get in. Just won't be the first time, which that's fine. Okay, there are other sports going on. Well, we can touch
Yeah.
up on Razorback baseball real quick. They have Tennessee this weekend, right? They host Tennessee.
Yes.
So, big series, regular season series finale. That's it, right? I mean, after this, it's the SEC tournament, right?
I thought LSU was our last series of the regular season, but I guess it's Tennessee,
Yeah,
and
it's
then we go to the
Tennessee.
SEC or SEC tournament.
Now we can talk about the LSU series briefly. Of course, it was a very competitive first game. I didn't see any of it, but
Yes.
Hogs lost by 1 run in extra innings.
Yeah.
The game I saw was Friday night.
Oh
Was it
man.
Friday night?
Yeah. The blowout. Or no, Saturday.
No, that was Saturday. Yeah, so it was I think Friday night when it was the close game. I didn't see any of it. Um, it was Saturday because I watched as much as I could stand, and then I turned it to Savannah Bananas and the part whoever Party Animals on Disney Plus. I watched that over Razorback baseball.
Cool. Yeah, I tuned into Saturday's game, like apparently right after we made a dumb error that cost us a run. It was still kind of close. And then we started walking and let them get some free bases. And yeah, then it got out of hand really quick. And so I changed the channel.
See, I lost. I started to lose interest at 6-0. Then when it got to 7-0, and then I had completely lost interest. And then something else happened, and I was like, oh, "Okay, I'm out. I'm watching something else entirely." Of course,
Yeah.
they got run ruled that game, which is just embarrassing. I don't care if it's the number three team in the country. You have the same
They're
SEC
the number
record.
one team this week.
Who
So
is?
LSU.
I mean, that looked like the best team in the country to me. LSU. That pitcher on Saturday, I don't know his name, but he was hitting every single spot. Arkansas could do nothing at the plate, and this is a team that can hit. Arkansas, that is.
Yeah.
But LSU can as well. They showed that pitching's top notch, especially that guy they were throwing on Saturday. Man, he's going to make a lot of money in Major League Baseball. To me, that was the best team in the country, LSU. I don't think it's. I haven't seen another team that talented. Um, yeah, haven't seen it. Of course, Arkansas turned around and won Sunday,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, they tried to let them come back and win, but yeah, held them off and what kept a 1 run win. So
I didn't see the. I saw some of the game. I didn't. It was on, but I had a final that I ended up taking Sunday night. So I did Mother's Day stuff that afternoon. I left and came home at about 3:45, and I hadn't had coffee yet, so I brewed some coffee. And as that was brewing. I turned the game on and watched some of it. And as soon as my coffee was done brewing, I was like, okay, it's time to go, time to study. And I studied the rest of the night basically, and then went and took my final. Got a 78, by the way. May have an A in the class. Don't know.
Wait,
I'm like that. I had an 88.21. Not that the viewers care about this. Maybe you do, but an 89 is a grade or is an A in the class. So the rest. The final is actually due by 8 p.m. tonight. So I'll see should know the final grade shortly after that. We'll see what happens. Um, but Arkansas, Tennessee on the diamond. Um, how do we see that going? We correctly predicted Arkansas beating Texas the last time we did this, but Arkansas swept Texas, who was number one at the time. How do we
yeah,
see this one going? Tennessee, big time, big time rivalry in baseball with DVH and Tony Vitello.
yeah.
Of course, Tennessee, defending national champions, have had more success in recent years than Arkansas has, at least in the postseason. But Arkansas, I think, swept them last season. How do we see this one going?
And the series, is that bomb. So, I mean, I see us winning the series. I doubt it's going to be a sweep. I don't think Tennessee had a good showing this past weekend, so they'll probably come in already kind of pissed off. So I think they'll take at least one game.
You see it happening like you predicted um, last time, like they split the first two games and Arkansas wins on Sunday.
Nah, I'm saying Arkansas wins the first two and loses a close one on Sunday.
I'm going to go that same route. I was thinking that I see Arkansas winning the first two and then dropping a close one or maybe even a blowout.
Yeah.
Um, you never really know in baseball in particular and with Arkansas. You never really know. I see it going that way. I'm going to take the Hogs winning the series 2-1 going into the SEC tournament. Uh, so yeah, the softball Hogs. How are they doing? I know the SEC tournament in softball is underway right now. I actually have time to watch sports now, so I'll probably tune into some of that.
I think they lost a close one to Oklahoma, right? In the semis.
Well, you're
They let
asking the
them.
wrong guy because I don't
I
know.
believe. Well, I mean, it was either Oklahoma or Texas, whoever they played, but they lost a close one. Yeah, apparently they were leading by a couple of runs and let the other team come back and win. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go turn on the TV when we get out of here and ice my foot because I got plantar fasciitis. But I actually got the okay from a
cool.
foot doctor today to just keep running because he said, I mean, it's not gonna get fixed if you don't stop, or it's not gonna get fixed if you do stop for a long time. So
Yeah.
just keep doing it if it's not killing you. So just keep icing it every time. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So just need I've got the shoes. I've got like three paired or a couple of pair of new running shoes. So using that and ice. So I'm gonna go ice my foot as soon as we upload or I upload this. But um yeah, I'll go check that out. But because like I said, I do get to watch some TV now. By the way, The Last of Us, have you watched any of that on Max?
Yeah.
I started the first episode, I think this past, I don't know, Friday maybe. Dude, I'm like, I'm kind of hooked
I
on
just
it.
started Gemstone. Well, I say just started. I started it like 3 weeks ago. So
What season are you on with Gemstones?
I've only got a couple episodes left. I thought it was
What?
more than
Like
four seasons.
in the series?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Wow.
thought it was more seasons. Yeah.
Now
And
it's
30
only
30 something minute episodes, like 9 seasons or 9 episodes a season. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. It's easier to do that.
Don't shame me.
That's why I like the Bear so much, at least the first two seasons. Because you could breeze through, you're like, oh, I got time for 30 minutes. And then you usually end up watching at least two of them.
Yeah.
Um, See, I hear season four is coming out soon. Season three was so trash. I'm hesitant to even watch season four, but of the
Of
bear that
what?
is
Oh, fair.
the bear. But I'm going to be watching The Last of Us when I'm not watching sports because I do have nearly 2 months off till Anatomy and Physiology 2 this summer. So, all right, before we get out of here, we can talk a little NBA playoffs. We're going to get probably we're going to get a new NBA champion.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, he's done, ruptured his Achilles after a 42-point effort last night in defeat. Um, it's weird. Boston's had big leads in pretty much every game, and I don't know, the Knicks keep coming back and winning. Uh, yeah, the Knicks are going to advance to the conference finals, and it's Patrick Ewing's not on that team. Very interesting. And right now, Cleveland and Indiana playing. Indiana up 3-1 in that series. Right now, Cleveland has a 14-point lead with 10:19 to go in the second quarter, but it's hard to come back from 3-1.
You don't
No,
have LeBron or Kyrie, dude. It's not happening.
yes, correct. And of course, Denver and Oklahoma City, that's the most interesting series left. And that series is tied at 2 games apiece. That's the night game, the 8:30 p.m. game. It is in Oklahoma City. Who do you got in that one tonight? And heck, in the series, because by the time we get back, come back
Um,
next Tuesday, it's going to be over.
yeah, I'm gonna stick with OKC. They had a big win in the last game. They were facing the possibility of going down 3-1, and made a comeback and ended up winning the game. I think they take that momentum into the next game and take the series lead.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma City's the better team overall, but dude, Denver gives them such problems. They give them so many problems. I'm kind of like you, but I'm going to pick Denver. I think Denver's too much of a handful. It's too much of a fight. I think it's too hard for Oklahoma City to beat Denver 4 out of 7 times. And I mean, it's just as hard for Denver to do that, or not just as hard. It just feels, or maybe it is. I don't know. It almost feels like a toss up, though, this series. I think Oklahoma City is the better team, but I think it's just such a bad matchup for Oklahoma City that I think Denver can beat them. I'll pick Denver to beat them in 7. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Either way, it's going 7. But yeah, I'm sticking with OKC.
Yeah, it's interesting. Haven't kept up with NHL playoffs at all. I do want to mention this before we get out of here, and I got to look it up just to be sure. Going into today, well, I do know this. Going into today, my St. Louis Cardinals are the hottest team in Major League Baseball right now. They have won 9 consecutive games, 9 straight games. My St. Louis Cardinals, They are 1 game back from Chicago in the Central, which Saint it's the NL Central. That's the Cardinals division. It always has been. They control the Central. At least they should. And it looks like things are starting to get back to normal. But 9 straight wins for the Cards. Got to give a shout out to them on that. Trying to look up if they're playing or they got, well, they were supposed to play the Phillies, but that got postponed. But still, 9 consecutive wins. So shout out to my Cards there. And we're out of time. So we'll see y'all next week. But until then, I'm your host, Graham Powell.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.